The pandemic changed our focus areas drastically. Grocery and essentials became the talk of the town. And who better to talk about how grocery space got reinvented during? You will hear from Mr. Ajay Tyagarajan, Category Marketing Manager, Big Basket, and Subramanian MS, Head of Category Marketing and Analytics, Big Basket. Over to you.
Thank you.
Just give me a second. I'm gonna.
Thank you, Jay. And thank you, Anurima, for that introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you also to the ICS team for inviting me back to participate in this year's virtual event. The fact that this year's event has become virtual is indicative of something that has fundamentally upended our lives in the last 7+ months. That something is COVID-19. I am Mani. I head category marketing and analytics functions at Big Basket. And with me is my colleague Ajay, who's the senior manager in the category marketing function. By way of introductions, quickly, you will see our professional backgrounds, academic life, and our other interests are. But today's focus is going to be primarily on talking about how COVID impacted the lives of millions of Indians and how online organizations stepped in to assist millions of consumers. So today we have broken down the presentation to cover these three key themes. Number one, how the COVID pandemic impacted the lives of millions of Indians, how the pandemic also upended Big Basket's operations and disrupted our ability to deliver a fantastic customer experience, and the actions we took to overcome operational challenges and how we won back the confidence of our customers. Our presentation is for 30 to 35 minutes, allowing for about 5 to 10 minutes of Q&A. The presentation is going to be broken down into three parts. We'll start with introducing Big Basket and its operating model. I'll cover that. And after that, I'll talk about COVID and its impact on our operations. I'll then hand over to my colleague who will talk about the actions we took to overcome the challenges and the results we achieved through these actions. So now to talk about Big Basket. Big Basket is India's largest online food and grocery store. We are pioneers in the online grocery segment. We've been in operation since December 2011, led by a team of 5 mature and seasoned entrepreneurs. They knew how to run grocery, and they also knew how to run online business because of their experiences in the early 90s running FabMart and FabMall, which were the earlier avatars in some form of a Big Basket. Hari Menon is our CEO, while Vipul is the CFO. The other founders are Ramesh, Sudhakar, and Abhinay. Running an online food and grocery business is not as easy as it appears to be. Unlike most other horizontal players or other focused vertical players, some of the critical challenges in running online grocery business comes from the hard problem of getting customers to trust us to pick fruits and vegetables for them. Millions of customers go out every day to buy their grocery needs and along with it to pick up their daily needs or weekly needs for fruits and vegetables. Imagine getting them to trust us to do that for them. Well, this was the customer related challenges that we overcame by launching this business way back in December 2011 and continuing to build on that foundation. We also needed to build the supply chain in the background to deliver fresh produce from the farm to the homes of the customers. As you can see here today, because of the trust that we've earned from our customers, we've been able to grow and operate in 24 cities, 14 of which are metro tier 1 cities and 14 tier 2 cities. We offer slotted delivery that includes rapid delivery within the next 4 to 6 hours on a selected assortment of 5,000 SKUs and slotted delivery beyond that 5,000 SKUs for a much larger assortment of 20,000 SKUs or upwards in each city by delivering it to in the slots that the customers choose to get them ordered from. And these are fairly well-defined slots and the customers pick them to suit their own convenience. In addition, we also delivered and work with institutions that include hotels, restaurants, and catering companies, as well as supply our products to local Kirana stores from where customers can also buy our products. Our company strength is about 12,000 plus employees and it's rapidly grown since then. It's made up of a very large blue collar workforce who are the face of the business that customers see. who help us run our back-end operations as well as the last mile delivery operations. We are headquartered in Bangalore near Dumlur, and that's quickly the introduction to BigBasket. I'm going to spend a minute now talking about BB in the form of numbers. We are obviously a business, and therefore numbers matter. So we are, as I said, India's leading online grocery store, launched in December 2011, operating in 24 cities, much of which I already covered. As I said, 12,000 strong workforce, which continues to grow. And as mentioned here, 11,000 of them come from lower income groups. And that's something that we're very proud of. We're able to build careers for individuals that come in from these income groups, give them a sustained work opportunity, and make a difference to their lives, their careers, their families, and their communities. Each city offers anywhere from 20,000, 25,000 to 30,000 plus SKUs, but aggregated across the nation, about 100,000 products for customers to choose from some of India's top leading brands, going all the way to local regional brands, making up about 1,000 plus orders, 1,000 plus brands that are available in our assortment. Across the various businesses that we run today, which is the traditional BigBasket, plus the BB Daily that helps meet customers' daily needs in the form of milk and non-milk products, and BB Instant, which is our smart kiosk vending machines that allow customers to walk up to, pick up their products and walk away without any friction, any action to be carried out in terms of payments. Across these three businesses, we deliver over 9 million plus orders every month. Because of the trust that the customers have placed in us and the value that we've been able to deliver to them, we have a very high repetition rate, a very loyal customer base. About 85% of our customers that have already shopped with us shop with us in any given month. We have an app, website, and a mobile web model through which customers can shop with us. About 10 million unique visitors every month. And we're seeing rapid growth, particularly accelerated by the movement of customers to safe, reliable options to buy their grocery needs online. And therefore, we are seeing dramatic growth, amounting to about 3x growth every 18 months or so. On the whole, we have about 20 million customers that have registered with us and work with us to shop with us, right? So that's quickly by the numbers about BigBasket. I'm going to now talk about what powers our backend. And the reason behind bringing up these two numbers, one is BigBasket's business numbers in terms of its size, the operations in cities, and now here to talk about talking about the supply chain. We'll set the stage for what I want to cover a little later. So let's spend a few minutes understanding the backend that powers BigBasket's operations. So we are technology enabled, data driven, and we built an end-to-end supply chain that connects farmers, distributors in the backend who supply their products to us. Some of these are supplied pretty much every day, particularly fresh produce comes in every single day into our distribution centers, from where the front-end supply chain then gets these products to our customers. Just to give you a sense of this pictorially, I'm going to cover from the left to right to help you understand what unfolds in the back end of BigBasket supply chain. We have a variety of products that include branded food that are commonly known and are commonly recognized brands, which come from distributors and brands. We have our own private label, and it's the share of private label sales in our overall sales continues to climb because we've been able to build high quality, reliable, trustworthy brands that our customers are being to trust and buy from us. They contribute about 35% of all of our sales. And these come from farmers because fruits and vegetables is predominantly private label sold under our own Fresho brand, and from manufacturers that we work with to source the non-fruits and vegetables, but consumable food products that are sold under our private label. And lastly, we have non-food that also contributes to our revenue. And these again come from distributors and brands. So these are sourced from various locations and brought into our DC or what we call as distribution center. These are massive facilities. And there are one or more of these in every city that becomes the focal point for aggregation of all supplies. From where the products then get distributed through the supply chain. So a lot of work happens within the DC in terms of receiving these items, stacking them, sorting them, and picking them, and sending them to the different facilities that then manage the distribution to our customers. And so the next tier involves hubs, dark stores, Kirana stores, or local food stores. The hubs are facilities from where resorting of these crates that are coming from the distribution centers are handled, loaded on vans, or in case of small orders, loaded on bikes that then go to the customer's location and get delivered. Dark stores are a concept that we built and developed over the last 3-4 years to improve the availability of products at short notice to our customers. Some of the top selling 5,000 SKUs or so are kept in our dark stores, with the rest coming from the distribution centers to the dark stores. So the dark stores allow us to deliver the top 5,000 SKUs within 4 to 6 hours of the customers placing an order. And so the distribution centers refill the dark stores at least once a day or up to 3-4 times a day, so that the dark stores are fully stocked and are able to meet the demands of the customer. Beyond this, through our Kirana business, we also supply the products to Kirana stores. And lastly, we have a line of business which are called specialty business that allows us to source customers' favorite products that we may not have in our assortment from popular nearby stores, bring them to our hubs or dark stores, and from where deliver them to the customers. And as you can see at the far end of the slide are the delivery mechanisms, our vans which allow us to deliver them to customers, and our bikes that also allow us to carry small volume orders and deliver to customers. So the idea behind using this illustration is to help us recognize the complexity that exists in the system and the scale of operations that is required to run the backend supply chain. Having talked about the numbers and the complexity and the scale of the backend supply chain, let's move to understand what happened when COVID hit India, right? So this had the making of a crisis, and sometime in the fag end of March, the nation went into a lockdown mode. This had a significant impact for the citizens of the country, but was a necessary step to arrest the spread of the virus, right? So when the lockdown was announced, you will see that things unfolded in a manner that became very unpredictable in advance. So what we are going to do through the rest of the presentation is cover the crisis and what it meant for us and actions that we took to overcome the challenges presented by the crisis. So we'll first talk about being thrown off balance by COVID-19. So it might make you wonder, for an online grocery business, what was the impact of the COVID crisis? But we'll talk about that in detail. And after that, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Ajay, who will walk you through the steps that we took. We assessed the impact, we recognize what actions had to be taken so that we will have a path forward to meet the needs of our customers. And so the actions taken that allowed us to turn the crisis into an opportunity, particularly powered by data, is something that we'll talk about later. So let's start with the onset of the crisis and the beginning of the lockdown by end of March 20. This is when all businesses and lives of customers were thrown off balance. But in our case particularly, what happened? As physical shops were shut down and when customers could not venture out to make their regular purchases, across the country, customers turned to online facilities to meet their daily needs. This started from needs that were as simple as milk and other products to their monthly grocery needs, including rice and food products and non-food products. So this clearly resulted in a significant surge in demand. The traffic that visits the BigBasket website right after the lockdown was announced and customers began to take precautions to avoid stepping out, began to show up in the visitor traffic. We saw a 4x to 5x increase in visitor traffic, and the frequency of visits as well went up dramatically. So some of the initial challenges were to improve our tech backbone to be able to address this kind of surge in traffic. For everyone's benefit, it is helpful to sort of baseline the growth in visitor traffic to help them understand why that becomes a challenge. A growth of this nature becomes a challenge. This kind of growth, a 4 to 5x growth in traffic or frequency of visits, is typically something that happens gradually and over many months, ideally over an 18-month to 24-month time frame. Imagine that happening within 18 to 24 hours. There's very limited time for the organization to scale up its infrastructure to support this. So we ran into challenges there. And so some of the initial time was spent in getting our infrastructure ready to support that surge in demand. On the other side, while there was a surge in demand and that by itself posed a significant challenge, the other dimension that also affected our customer experience is constraints in supply. What did this mean? The COVID situation also meant that a lot of our staff that worked in the DCs, the hubs, the dark stores, as well as our delivery staff that managed the last mile operations were restricted in movement. That broke down into two parts. One part of it is the fact that the staff members went back to their hometowns or began to migrate to their hometowns, given the uncertainty across the country. The second part of it also is that people that still stayed back in town could not commute, could not come to the work facilities, and therefore were facing severe hurdles in reporting to work. So this dramatically reduced the supply that we could offer to customers, going from being able to support volumes that are as high as 300,000 orders a day. Our supply ability, both in terms of staff availability as well as vehicle availability, came down to about 30,000 orders a day. While the demand was surging, you could clearly see that the supply had come down by about 1/10. So we were trying to match a 4x, 5x growth in demand with a 1/10 level of supply that existed at that point in time. Added to that was the fact that the supply chains across the nation were crippled. So stock movements were impacted. Forget moving stocks from one city to another city. Stock movement within the city also was impacted. So all of this clearly affected customer experience, and it got us thinking. And we recognized the fact that we were becoming an important destination for our customers, in some cases the last resort for our customers to meet their daily needs. And so we began to focus on actions that could help us overcome this challenge. So like I said, the demand increase paired with the fall in our workforce strength resulted in customers finding significant challenges in being able to place orders. We were running out of slots because we had to cut down the slot availability to match the workforce that was showing up daily, which meant that the customers wouldn't be able to find slots. But if they found slots, the added challenge was that we were running out of stock rapidly. Customers, afraid of what was going to unfold, were buying in bulk, stocking up, and therefore the per order demand that usually we would see went up by 2x, 3x, therefore causing us to run out of inventory. The outcome clearly was dissatisfaction from customers, and we had to quickly take some steps to move forward and define a way forward. So we recognized the challenge in terms of resource and infrastructure, and we also recognized very quickly that we had to do more because there were more customers reaching out to us, but with less infra, less inventory, less workforce. And that defined our motto over the next many months, which was to do more with less, DWML. So this sets the stage for me to hand over to my colleague Ajay, who was involved with various teams in assessing some of these challenges and planning the actions that we had to take so that we could do more with less and turn around the customer experience so that we could meet our customer expectations. Over to you, Ajay.
Thanks a lot, Mani, for introducing the concept of doing more with less. I'll just spend a couple of minutes touching upon the conception of doing more with less. So this concept emerged out of one key question which we had to ask ourselves when we were thrown off balance, right? Which was how can we help as many customers as possible fulfill their grocery needs at a time when they felt unsafe to step out of their homes, right? Now, while this is an obvious question to ask, the answers were not very obvious at first. So we put our heads together and used customer behavior data as well as regional operations data to arrive at 5 initiatives that could help us bring the concept of doing more with less to life. So these initiatives were, as you can see on the screen, bulk delivery, mother slots, assortment optimization, efficient order pipeline, and lastly, the token system. So over the next 10 minutes, I'll walk you through each of these initiatives and how they helped us do more with less and ultimately achieve our business goals. For each of these initiatives, we'll first try to understand the pre-COVID scenario, how that scenario changed with the onset of the COVID lockdown, and then how BigBasket adopted to this change. Right. So let's begin with the bulk delivery model. So during the pre-COVID period, BigBasket would make multiple trips to large apartment complexes and gated communities to deliver individual orders from residents of these apartments. Many of you might have noticed the BigBasket delivery vans entering and exiting the complex multiple times a day. But with the onset of the COVID lockdown, our delivery and warehouse infrastructure came under severe pressure. Right? And we quickly realized that making multiple trips to the same apartment complex to deliver small orders was inefficient and simply not sustainable if we wanted to do more with less. Right? So we looked at van routing data, customer lat longs, and tied this back to customer addresses to identify large apartment complexes where our delivery vans were visiting multiple times a day. Right? And then we use this information to set up a process through which multiple small orders coming from the same apartment complex could be consolidated into one large order. And this change in operations resulted in two key benefits. Right? The first one being the picker at the warehouse could now pick items in bulk, thereby reducing the time taken to pick and pack items. And the second being the van being used to deliver the orders was utilized to its full capacity and made only a single trip to the apartment complex. And lastly, of course, more customers could be served. Right now, you must be wondering how we managed to make only a single trip without making any changes to the slots shown on the app. Right? So this brings us to the second initiative, which is mother slots. Right? Now, if you're a regular BigBasket customer, you would know that BigBasket has multiple delivery slots that one can choose from. I mean, 24 slots to be precise. Now, we have so many slots so that customers can choose the one that is most convenient to them and could plan to be available at home at the right time to receive the delivery of their order. Right? However, with the onset of the COVID lockdown, things changed. Right? Now, many of us were confined to our homes, and we were available pretty much all day to receive the delivery of our orders. So procuring essentials, quickly replaced convenience as the need of the hour, right? And recognizing this, we quickly moved from 24 slots in a day to one slot in a day, right? And this change resulted in a few benefits. The first was that we were able to plan our routes better as we had order information for the whole day. So what would earlier require two trips to the same location, one in the morning, one in the evening, could now be reduced to a single trip, right? The second is that we were also able to pick orders more efficiently as we were able to space out deliveries throughout the day instead of being constrained by demand in each slot, right? And lastly, again, we were able to serve more customers, right? So that was a bit about the mother slots. Third initiative that we had was on assortment optimization. Right now, BigBasket is known for stocking a very wide range of products and boasts of the largest assortment compared to competitors in the grocery space. We constantly strive to maintain a very large range and add new products despite the cost and operational challenges this poses to us. And we do this, because e-commerce is really driven by the need for convenience, right? In this case, the convenience of finding all products in one place without having to visit another store to fulfill one's needs, right? So giving the customer a reason to go to an offline store or to another online store is a recipe for disaster, right? It impacts not just customer retention, but also their purchase frequency and the wallet share that they give to your business, right? So considering all of this, in a pre-COVID scenario, we would stock a large assortment with multiple pack sizes, multiple variants for every product. But with the onset of COVID and the supply chain disruptions that it caused, we were no longer able to procure and stock as many products, right? So moreover, convenience took a backseat for customers. Many of them just wanted to fulfill their grocery needs, even if it meant, having to make the inconvenient choice of purchasing a pack size or variant which was different from what they would usually buy, right? So quickly realizing this behavior change, we relied on our order history, vendor fill rate data to plan our assortment in such a way that at least one pack size or one variant of all essential items were available, right? Preferably the most popular ones. So and here's another place where our private label products greatly helped. Since we have greater control over the supply chain of our own brands, we were able to ensure availability of private label products in cases where the FMCG manufacturers or vendors couldn't supply to us, right? So what did all this result in? Ultimately lowering of total assortment, definitely, but ensuring that all essentials were available for customers, right? Secondly, picking efficiency improved because the picker could pick more orders with fewer items per order. And lastly, of course, again, reiterating the fact that we were able to ensure that all essential items were delivered to customers at a time when they felt unsafe to step out of their homes, right? The fourth initiative was efficient picking. Now, while the initiatives we have discussed thus far yielded some benefits in terms of picking efficiency, we went one step further to get the most out of the picking process, right? So for those unfamiliar with our delivery model, and I think Mani has touched upon this a little bit in the beginning of the presentation, I'll just quickly provide an overview. We have a warehouse or a distribution center where a large number of products in large quantities are stocked. This distribution center, or DC as we call it, in turn replenishes the smaller dark stores located at various points in the city. And final delivery to the customer is done from these dark stores, right? Now, as you can imagine, only the most popular SKUs are stocked at the dark stores. So if an customer's order contains a less popular item, which is not stocked at the dark store, we fulfill that from the DC, right? Now, during the pre-COVID period, a picker would pick some of the less popular items at the distribution center, pack it, and send it to the dark store, where another person would pick the more popular items and pack it, and together they would be delivered to the customers, right? Now, but with the onset of COVID, picking products at an item level at the DC was no longer possible. So what we did was we consolidated orders, right, for all the less popular items, and picked those not individually, but in full cases or cartons, right? So these cases were then sent to the dark store instead of the individual items. And then a picker at the dark store would just pick the whole order and pack it and deliver it to the customer, right? So this changed. This resulted in a few benefits for us. The first thing was that it saved us picking time, greatly increased manpower efficiency at the DC, and all of this ultimately resulted in helping us serve more customers. And lastly, the initiative that we undertook, was token system. So to give you some context about this, a BigBasket customer during the pre-COVID period would usually be able to pick a slot from multiple options and get the order delivered on the same day or the next day latest, right? But during the lockdown, many customers were unable to see any slot at all. They kept coming back to the app repeatedly, only to find out that no slot was available. And this led to a lot of frustration and ultimately migration to another store, either an offline store or another online store, and also a lot of customer complaints, right? So we were closely tracking the instances of no slot available notifications, and also looking at the frequency of app opens, and also the number of customer complaints related to slot availability, right? We looked at this data and realized that this was a very widespread issue affecting a majority of our customers across cities. And so we built and deployed a token system that would help customers take a token and wait for their turn to place an order, right? This token also contained an estimated date and time at which they could come and place an order. And the token would be activated at that time, and the customer would be allowed to place the order, right? So this greatly resulted in reduced uncertainty around finding a delivery slot. Customers wouldn't need to now keep checking and getting frustrated. It was also no longer a fastest fingers first contest wherein the customers were very quick to check and find a slot, placing their order, leaving all the other customers behind. So that wasn't the case. Customers could be certain that they will be allowed to place an order on a certain date and time, right? And if the estimated date or time was more than a day away, the customer could plan to purchase the urgent needs from another store and use the token to purchase the other items from BigBasket, right? So that was broadly the 5 initiatives that helped us do more with less, which is serve more customers, help them fulfill their need for essentials in a very unsafe environment, right? BigBasket firmly believes in putting customers first, and when we do that, strong business results automatically follow. So aided by these initiatives, we were able to almost double the size of our business and hit an annual run rate of $1 billion about 16 months before we anticipated to. Right? Moreover, customers who shopped with us during the lockdown were extremely satisfied with our service and are now loyal customers, loyal BigBasket customers, as evidenced by the high retention rate for this cohort. Right? So none of this would have been possible without all the effort and teamwork that was put in behind the scenes. What we have just covered over the last 30 minutes or so were just glimpses of what transpired over the last several months. But I'm sure some of you might have found this interesting and would like to know more. So I'll just request Mani again to tell those who are interested about how they could learn more about BigBasket.
Thank you, Ajay. We came up with this term "doing more with less" (DWML), but it also is an abbreviation that I could expand to say data will make life easy. Many of the decisions that we made, unfortunately or fortunately at that point in time, did not offer past history or precedents to borrow from, because events that unfolded were events that were happening for the very first time. But where possible, we relied on data to help us make decisions. The examples include, and Ajay touched upon these at multiple points. In planning the assortment, we clearly used data that told us that customers were looking for daily critical essential needs, and order history helped us quickly build an assortment that reflected most frequently bought items that made up a large volume of customers' baskets. Similarly, when it came to the token system, again, Ajay talked about us being able to record and recognize the experience that customers were going through. When customers were seeing the no slots available message, we sort of logged it and saw the volume of such messages, and through that recognized what hubs, what facilities were running into issues, and quickly used that information to turn on token system so that we could reduce the pain that the customers were going through. All of these experiences over the last 7 months or so gives us rich content to write a book about how BigBasket was able to do more with less. But if you wanted to know what drove all of this thinking and what powered all of the solutions, it's BigBasket's unrelenting focus on customers and customer experience. We always believe in a culture that places emphasis on recognizing that customers are critical to us, and encourages all employees to sort of put themselves in customer shoes and think of solutions keeping the customer in mind. So the vision, the culture, and the commitment to the values that BigBasket espouses is what has helped BigBasket become one of India's most successful startups. The story of this, which is based on the belief that there is a room for jugaad, but it does not give us long-term solutions, led to the book called Saying No to Jugaad, co-authored by me with the head of HR, that talks about BigBasket's vision, culture, and commitment to its values in detail. So you'll learn more about BigBasket and BigBasket's culture in the book. Thank you for spending the last 35 minutes with us. I hope it helped you understand what happened with the onset of the crisis, how we turned the crisis into an opportunity, and how we were able to win back our customers and through that grow, but also deliver a superior experience to our customers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Subramanian. Thank you, Ajay. It was a great session. We learned a lot. So I am just requesting everybody to leave the questions so that you guys can answer. And yeah, the book awaits all of us. Thank you so much.